and the excitement and the competition, just all of it. I was just enthused by it. I saw a little bandolero sitting down on kind of underneath the grandstands, and I was like, Dad, I want to do that someday. And so we kind of looked into it, and the bandoleros were kind of dying out at that point, and I was probably 7 or 8 at that time. But I had my snowmobiles and I had my ATV, so I kind of stuck with that, just riding around on my property. But then when I turned 11, my dad, said, are you still interested in racing? And I said, well, yeah. So he had a few friends that were in the go-karting industry that raced, the Honda 4-cycles. And so he got me into it, but he got me into a Rotax, the Rotax junior class. And I was awful, I don't know if you knew me at the very beginning when I was 11. You might have. I don't know if you came in when I was like 13, but I was completely awful, and I got a lot of negative feedback from a lot of the people, but, I just never took that to heart. And so then when I turned 14, I got into mini stocks, and I raced that for 2 years. And then I jumped into the Pro 4 trucks, and I went into the Ford Focus midgets, and I raced that down in California with the Ron Sutton Winter Circle Driver Development Program. And I raced that for a year, and then I jumped into late models, and now I'm racing late models.
Wow. Well, you asked me if I remember. I one thing I do remember is I remember you and Colton Schultz had kind of a interesting relationship. You guys did. You guys were always seeming like crashing or doing something. So, but okay, so you're too boy, and you were busy. I mean, these steps came quickly, did they not? I mean,
yeah, they did. I mean, when I turned 14, I was working with Blake Choker in the go-karting. And when I started having some success with that, then we kind of just got out of it because we were like, okay, well, we had success. So now you're 14 and it's allowed for 14-year-olds to jump into the NASCAR wheel-in circuit. So that's when we got into the mini stock. And then once we had success in the mini stock, then we jumped into the Pro 4 truck. And once we had the success in the Pro 4 truck, then we moved on. And that's kind of how it's been. But now it's just kind of, it's skills and talent, but most of it's, money, getting to the next level. So that's kind of what we're focused on is, well, first of all, is like rebooting our program and getting it back on its feet and having some success in 2015. And then, trying to find those sponsors that will take us to the next level. But yeah, it all came very quickly, but I'm glad at the route that I took. I didn't just jump from, the go-karts to late model. Like, we had steps, and I learned a lot in all those different, series. So it's been good.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you. I mean, I couldn't agree more. I think there's a big difference between being fast in a go-kart and fast in a late model. I mean, yes, you can wheel, and yes, it's two different deals, but boy, that is a huge jump. That's like going from middle school to almost to pro, if you ask me. But
yeah,
now going back just a little bit, do you remember Nicole Bihar? When she
I do.
Yeah, and if you were looking at that, you would probably say, man, I mean, because she was good, but they struggled a lot karting. But boy, she's jumped in this late model, and I'm going to tell you what, she's been getting it done.
Yeah, she has.
No, do you?
I didn't personally. I talked to Nicole a little bit in go-karting. I was pretty shy in the go-karting world. I mean, I talked to Brandon Schreiber and Kyle Byers and, CJ Gannon and all those kids. I kind of clicked with them. But Nicole was racing a different series. So I talked to her a few times and to her dad and, to see how her weekend was going and just how everything was going. And just said a few words here and there. They never, got a close relationship with Nicole, but yeah, she's been kicking some butt recently.
Absolutely. So, I'm just trying to make sure I'm kind of going in a little bit of order here, so I don't get the cart before the horse. But so how is it racing with some of your peers that you came like with Schreiber and Gann, some of those guys? I mean, you're well taken, I know that, but I mean, did you feel weird being a female kind of in an all guys sport?
In the go-karting?
No, well, even no, not so much the go-karting, but when you made the step up to the late models.
Oh yeah. Well, the thing that was different was in the go-karting I was with kids that were my age. I was racing. I was 11 years old. I was racing against 11 years old. When I turned 12, I was racing against 12 and 13-year-olds. And there were a lot of females, in my perspective, in the go-karting. You had Nicole, you had me, you had Alex Thomason, you had Frankie Officer. There was a lot of people that were racing with me. So in the karting world, I didn't really think of myself as a girl in a male-dominated sport. But then when I made the jump into the NASCAR circuit, it was, a completely different world. I was 14 years old racing against guys twice my age. And there weren't a lot of females, and if there were females, they were 20 or 30 years old, but I wasn't necessarily racing against them. They would be in different spirits. So I got a lot of criticism in my mini stock days, especially. And it wasn't necessarily, it was negative comments about, like, how I shouldn't be out there, but a lot of it I felt was probably more kind of like jealousy, because I was doing pretty well in the series. So, I think it was more of jealousy, but I kind of, there's that Racing West and all that, those message boards and stuff. And I used to look at those and I would get all upset and I'd be like, why am I in this? I'd get frustrated because people didn't want to see me in the sport that I absolutely loved. And then one day my dad walked up to me with a message board about, Molly Helmuth racing and whatever. I don't even know. I took it from him and I ripped it up. And I said, I don't want to see these anymore. I'm never going on Racing West ever again. I don't need to see these. Like, I know that if I'm going to make a career in this sport one day, like, I'm going to receive negative comments. Like, people, this is a male-dominated sport. It's not really female-driven. So, I just kind of had to deal with that. And, today it's just like, I don't resemble, I look different. I'm small and petite. I'm a female. Like, people can obviously see that. But when I put on the helmet, like, a lot of people that come to the racetrack for the very first time, like, they don't know that I'm a female. Like, I don't have pink on my car. I don't have purple on my car. It doesn't say girl on it. It looks like a normal, quote-unquote male car or a race car driver's car. So it doesn't resemble a female. So, I really try not to play off the whole female role in this industry.
Well, I can tell you, having seen a lot of cars in my time, your car, girl, no girl, whatever. Your cars always look nice. And and as far as the jealousy thing, it doesn't matter whether it was all women in there, like I do. If you're good, it's lonely at the top, as they say. So, a lot of that is just people not, it's easy to sit up there and say, oh man, look at that. She's everybody's way, this, that, and the other thing. But you know what? They're not out there doing it. They're not making any effort. So, I commend you for that. I know for me, when I was coming up, that was a goal of mine. You're doing what I wanted to do, but you take the exit and you do what you got to do. And I think you've done that. Now moving on, you do a lot of your own self-promotion and do you lay out your sponsor stuff? Are you actually, do you make an outline saying, okay, this is what because you're doing all that, right? Or is it hired out?
No. And that's the thing, if we go back to the jealousy, just a step back, it's like, a lot of people think, Molly has it easy. Molly has, she's a daddy's girl. Her daddy's paying her way. She has it easy because she is unique in the sport. But when you really look at it, like, I'm just like another racer out there trying to get sponsors. I have a unique draw to myself because I'm young and I'm female. But one, like, I have to be just as competitive. I have to be, I have to walk the walk and talk the talk. I have to be talented. I have to do all the same things that the guys do, but I might have a little step forward just because I'm a female. But yeah, I do all my marketing and promoting. I created my marketing proposal with my sister, and I made my website, and I'm currently studying marketing in school, and that's helped me a bunch. And now for a couple of years now, I've been going to the big sponsorship meetings by myself, and I'm negotiating out contract agreements with these major companies. So it's kind of terrifying because I'm so young, and a lot of people probably wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing. And I'm not like bragging, but it's like, this is what I love to do. And if I want to do the sport, like, this is what I have to do. I have to just go out there and, call up people. I say, like, every Friday I call up sponsors. I have this whole list, and a bunch of it's no's. It's a ton of no's. It's all red. But, there are some yeses or maybes in that bunch. And just getting those, like, it's extremely exciting. Even just getting somebody to say no is really exciting, because then I can move on and try to figure out somebody else. So, but yeah, I do all my own marketing. I do all my Facebook pages, my social media, everything. And try to get it done.
Wow. That's awesome. And, you say, well, you get a lot of no's and a lot of maybes, but honestly, I believe, just because you get a no, that's just no right now. If you've made an impression on them, you never know. 3 months, 4 months, a year from now, they might call up and they say, yeah, you remember that young lady came in here and gave us that awesome, we just weren't ready, but we're ready now. So, I mean, you know what I mean? You still got to look at it that way as, a no doesn't mean a no. It just means right now we just can't do it or whatever. But I think you're, man, that's fantastic. And then that you're in control of your own destiny, right? I mean, who better than that than you? Yeah.
I don't know.
Molly, I'll tell you that the key to me, looking at everything now, is it's not like the old days where oh yeah, I'll put your name on my, and they always walk in there with, well, if only, and when you give me, and you have to go in there knowing that, hey, I'm going to go racing with or without you. That's not the question. I'm going to go. I'm just wanting to know if you want to be an investor, come on board. And then you got to have something unique to give them. It isn't like the old days. I mean, you got to have something unique these days to really entice them. Because let's face it, you're probably not getting rich doing this. So
no, God, no.
Yeah, so that's one of those things you have to be kind of creative, which I'm sure you are. So with that being said, I know you have Frontier. How did you get them?
Well, actually, for 2015, we're still in negotiation with them. So they're not official. We haven't, signed a contract yet for 2015, but we're still in negotiation with what we're going to do for next year. But in 2014, how I got signed with them was they came out to Evergreen Speedway, and they knew that they wanted to have a female race car driver be a spokesperson for their business. So they came out to the showdown, and it was 3 of us racing. And that day I just happened to do a lot of, promotional stuff for Champion Spark Plugs, and I was handing out flyers, and I was talking to people, I was shaking hands, and I was doing well that day. And they just called me up, like, on Monday, and they're like, out of the people that we were looking at, you stood out to us the most, and we want you. So, and then I talked to them, and, the partnership was signed, and we went on for 2014. And but again, like, we're not completely sure with 2015, but I'm sure that they'll still be on board. Just we haven't agreed to everything yet.
Awesome. Now, are you reading these comments, Molly, that are on the chat thing? Are you?
I'm not. I don't have my computer because I didn't want to hear my voice.
Well, I'm telling you, you've got fans on here already.
Oh, good.
The Snowman says this young lady's doing an excellent job with this interview. So I mean,
Oh,
you got to, yeah. I mean, it's awesome. My question is, why didn't you